Christina Partsinevelos has got more in today's Tech Check. Hey, Christina.
Hi, Melissa. Well, Intel, like you said, is up big because the most valuable AI company just wrote them a $5 billion check. The deal has two parts. Intel builds custom CPU, central processing units, for NVIDIA's data center platforms. And then Intel also creates chips combining their processors with NVIDIA's graphics, specifically for personal computers, PC. Notice what's not mentioned. Intel's foundry business. Zero manufacturing commitments in the press release thus far. The $5 billion investment is a lot. Not chump change, but only roughly 1% of NVIDIA's projected $500 billion in free cash flow over the next 4 to 5 years. So I could say maybe pocket change for Jensen Huang, but massive, massive validation for Intel, which desperately needs an AI story. The White House angle that wasn't is kind of telling. No Trump mentioned in the press release, no government officials quoted. This morning, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett told CNBC he wasn't aware of the government encouraging this investment. Recall that the administration invested $10 billion in Intel a month ago at $20.40 a share, so already a 50% upside. AMD, though, let's talk about the laterals. AMD is down roughly, 3%? Yeah, well, 2.5% right now, because this really threatens their server CPU games. Then you have ARM down even more because it undermines their Nvidia partnership, specifically to CPUs. And investors are buying up semiconductor equipment stocks across the board, but they might be getting ahead of themselves because we have zero details on volume, production, timelines, and whether Intel can actually execute on any of this and how long it'll take. The best player, though, in AI just lifted the most out of favor semiconductor stock. Announcements, though, are easy, but execution is hard, especially for Intel. Nvidia doesn't write $5 billion checks lightly, but Intel still has to deliver.
Christina, analysts have been bullish on Nvidia for so long. There was never a mention that Nvidia needed this sort of partnership or was missing this part of its business. And I'm wondering why all of a sudden it is seen that Nvidia needed this and this is actually beneficial to the business model.
So two fronts. So we're talking, this is a product deal. And the interesting part is the personal computer side. Intel has about 70% of PCs, and they make the CPUs for said PCs. The fact that Nvidia is partnering with them would give them a stronghold into the PC market and also, in the turn, allow Intel to expand that and include AI, so AI PCs. So this is more of like a four-year time frame for something like that. The second part, which is not proven, it has to do with politics, right? You have Nvidia caught in the middle between the dynamics between China and the United States. They're often used as literally a bargaining chip. And so if Nvidia shows that they're investing on U.S. soil in an all-American company that is, manufacturing here in the United States, then that's seen as a win in President Trump's eyes. And then potentially that could be used as leverage and really help Nvidia in their dynamics with China. So that's probably more the route, but they're not going to comment on that.
And does it move the needle, Christina, for Nvidia in terms of really diversifying their production partners? Obviously, Taiwan Semi is the core of that business there. Or is it just, as you suggest, kind of going tangential or additional to what their actual core business is and enlarging the market?
No, the goal is that eventually they could shift some of their production to Intel here in the United States. But to your point, TSMC is the one that is providing the most advanced manufacturing processes, and most of this production will happen with TSMC. The advanced packaging may happen with Intel. That's when you get a little bit more complicated. But it's possibly a big vote of confidence in the near term that perhaps maybe Intel could be the next big foundry for NVIDIA, but we're not there yet.